Well, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and every day this week, our Claire Foley has been taking us through important conversations about mental health in college athletics. That includes the mental health of former athletes. And tonight, she's joined by Columbia native and former Gamecock football player Jacob August, who shares what his post-grad journey with mental health has been like, both from his personal experience and his foundation where he works to be there for others. And a disclaimer for our viewers, this story contains topics surrounding mental health that some may find sensitive.
If I had to put a quantifiable number on it, I could say it was about 5 years before I fully accepted that I was no longer a football player, and I was more than just a football player.
We know the pressure is high for SEC football players and all college athletes with tough competition and grueling schedules. But what happens when that all stops?
Every single minute of your life was planned out for you, and then you just rinse and repeat for years and years and years. And so then you're done playing football, and then it's like, okay, you can do whatever you want. Well, it's like, yeah, that's great, but also I've never been able to do whatever I want in my entire life. And it's very daunting because you no longer have that structure, and you no longer have those people kind of planning your life out for you. And it puts you into a deep depression of, okay, I always thought that I was the football player, but now that doesn't matter anymore.
For former Gamecock Jacob August, it was trial and error figuring out what worked for him in this new stage of life. He believes there's no one-size-fits-all for how to transition post-grad, but he used one question as his guide.
Why are you setting a routine? Why are you waking up in the morning to do what you're doing? And for years, I didn't know what my why was. And you could even say when I was playing college football, I didn't know what my why was. So all of these like hacks are helpful, but they don't matter unless you really understand why you're on this earth and why you are where you are today. And every single person in this world has their why, but it's specific to you.
Part of his purpose is to help others through that transition, starting with just encouraging conversations.
You know, I grew up in a generation where it was kind of understood that if you were having issues, it meant that you were being soft, and that you had to learn how to kind of swallow, you know, your pride and your issues, and not tell anybody. It has changed over the last 5 to 10 years. It's become something that people actually seek out, and you know, that's what we're trying to do here at the PD3 Foundation is trying to communicate with others about the fact that it is okay to talk about this, and that it actually means that you're normal, and there is a lot of benefits to just saying something about the thoughts that you're having. And that's something that I've noticed over the last decade is when you do say something, even if it's crazy and even if it doesn't make sense, the fact that you were able to just verbalize it allows you to have the insight into your own thoughts, being like, you know what, that was kind of crazy. Maybe I shouldn't be thinking like that anymore. Or you're talking to somebody who is a professional or somebody that is a close friend of yours, and they help you think through why you might be having those thoughts and how you can kind of try to come out of the other side in a positive light.
Because for August, it's personal. The namesake of the PD3 Foundation is in honor of his friend and former teammate at Cardinal Newman, Parker Dubois.
We went to a very small school, so Parker was always on our varsity football team and our basketball team, so we became very, very close with Parker. Sadly, he passed away due to suicide during COVID, and it was a very, very troubling time for his family and us as his friends. So the reason we started PD3 Foundation was because we just wanted to make an impact and carry on Parker's legacy, and hoping, you know, with the hopes of turning tragedy into something that can help others.
The foundation partners with local companies for fundraisers, hosts honor walks, an annual flag football game, and even gives a scholarship to a Cardinal Newman student who hopes to make a difference in the mental health space.
You know, we're just trying to remind people to have meaningful conversations with others. And, you know, we want to dig deep and have these personal connections with others, and knowing that we're there for them during hard times.
I want to thank Jacob August for taking the time to share his story with us. So important. We thank him again for his time. And mental health is important not just in May, but every day. And we have done stories on mental health in college sports all week long, and they are all available on our website at wach.com.